Welcome back to Client Side Chats. And today we have a very special guest. We have Fay Feeney, who is the CEO of Risk for Good. And that is a risk governance firm that works with board colleagues. So I think that's great. I will say this: Faye and I have known each other for a very long period of time. And Faye, you may not even realize this, but you were actually the first paying customer for our company, if you can believe it or not. I still have the check framed. But anyway, Faye, so tell us a little bit about what you're working on today.
Well, first of all, James, it's just a pleasure to be here. My work in 2021 has really evolved, and the evolution is around spending time with boardroom colleagues, those ladies and gentlemen who sit in corporate boardrooms, who oversee the strategy and execution for companies, and who do it all with a great sense of resilience and just financial expertise to navigate the business world.
I got to tell you, I love the direction you have gone with your career. It is so fascinating. And some of the discussions we've had, obviously offline, but nonetheless about safety and how that works. And I tell you what, but you've had a very distinguished career and continue to do so. I want to point out you're an ASSP fellow as well. And
Thank
I'm
you.
honored as a friend, to see that you achieved that award. A very deserving recognition for that. But today, what we'd like to do is just kind of ask you, what would you say is a success story in safety that you would like to share?
Oh, well, thank you. When I think of success, I'm always thinking about the next one. And
Ah,
and I think really the next success, both for me professionally and as a profession, is to connect the needed expertise that safety professionals globally bring to this challenge that boardrooms have around how do they match their interest in people's safety, health, and well-being to the necessary expertise so that we can make really good investments of our capital for a future company that is going to sustain and drive.
that's interesting. Now, is this something which is on the minds of boards right now? Is that a topic that is somewhere up towards the top of, say, their priorities or their thinking or what they need?
A recent NACD 2021 survey of corporate directors made it very clear they believe that their sustained performance against long-term risk and opportunities, 40% of them believe that maintaining and growing the safety, health, and well-being of people is their greatest opportunity for long-term success. And there's certainly agreement with institutional investors that that is where we should see capital flowing in 2021.
Aha. So there's a link between safety and finance right there, the financial health and the health overall and well being of the organization moving into the future, correct?
It's not only correct, but it's spot on. I mean, people
Oh,
are now value creators. If you're still thinking of people as expense, you need to update your accounting knowledge. The only way you're going to get value in today's world is to invest in people. And I think that there's a lot of room for opportunity, a lot of risk taking for good.
and you're now working in this space, correct?
I mean, since we did that first deal, it has been my interest to shape and influence a conversation around people's well-being.
Well, I have to tell you, having worked with you on several different clients together, that watching you do this has been extremely valuable to the organizations with which you've provided advisory and guidance to. I just cannot believe the outcomes that have happened, some of which I've seen have been mergers and acquisitions from global companies on a very large scale. It's just been phenomenal. And I know you've had that influential impact with them in thinking along these lines. So, other things that are also on the minds of people within the boards that you're working with as well?
Well, I'll tell you what's on this boardroom thinker's mind. I really want to encourage your audience to become systems thinkers and
Ah,
to really understand the risks and opportunities inherent with a broader, more connected way of thinking. And I want to encourage safety professionals to connect globally with a community of safety professionals around the world that are really doing amazing work in advancing the expertise around human capital and people's well-being.
Okay, now here's a question for you. 46% of the boards, correct? The people who are making these kinds of strategic plans and thinking towards the future are thinking about the impacts in employees, or I should say, people's safety and health within the organizations, right?
This is a self-assessment, and it's
Ah,
done not by boards, but by individual directors who serve on company boards with other board colleagues.
fascinating. Okay. So is there a percentage you would say of people who are, say, in the realm of safety professionals, are they represented as being able to provide guidance and advisory to these individual board directors or maybe the boards themselves? I mean, are we pretty well represented, or what would you say?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd ask your audience to weigh in the posting section on what they're doing to support information for their boardrooms. I would say, we can look to human capital disclosure on public companies. It's happening right now in proxies, in 10Ks. Human capital is being reported on voluntarily via
Uh,
the SEC guidance. I would look to that. And I would say, we can look to recent Fortune 100 research that says of the self-identified safety professionals in the boardroom, it represents 0.08. 0.08% of self-identified safety professionals who are inside the boardroom working in committee roles to advance safety and health.
what a gap. Because what that means is that the directors are saying 46% of them are saying this is an important issue for them, yet there's only 0.08%. That's not even 1%, Faye, of the safety professionals who are actually providing that kind of support and data that would go into making these decisions.
This is
Yeah.
influencing as a colleague. It certainly doesn't speak to what our professionals can send into the boardroom and to their C-suite on leading indicators.
Wow. Okay. So we've got work to do. That's what we're saying here.
Well, we've been focused in many ways on lagging indicators, and profitability in itself is a lagging indicator. So we really need to rethink how we're going to speak about successful businesses. And I hope it gets rewritten with people's safety, health, and well-being as our goal and a shared purpose.
Well, I'll tell you what, as someone who is on the cutting forefront of this kind of advisory and really looking towards the future of what is needed at that level to be able to sustain our organizations into the future, this is great advice and a great share for the audience here. They really need to be thinking about this. Now, our time I know is getting short here for this client side chat. I would love to have you back to explore some of this stuff a little bit more as we move forward, because what happens in these large organizations is often representative of what's going on in our other entities that may not be publicly traded that we work for. And definitely something we need to be thinking about. I would agree.
Well, everybody needs to be thinking about where they are in the supply chain. And
Yeah.
James, I'd be happy to come back. And I want to also leave the audience with this thought. Yeah, there is a mismatch and there is a lot of opportunity
Yeah.
to start making investments and allocating capital to improving the lives of people. It will return itself. I won't even guess, but I've seen it return itself tenfold, if not greater.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay. Thank you very much, Faye, for being on. This is definitely, you're leaving everybody hanging like, okay, so what's next? I love that. So, yep, there you go. So, Faye, thank you for being on today. Greatly appreciate it. Look forward to the next time we have an opportunity. And maybe we can even talk about a little bit of a series that would be helpful and really showcase the cutting edge work that you're doing that I know will benefit all of the safety community into the future. So, thanks for being on.
My pleasure, James. And I ask the audience to get engaged in this conversation and let us know what are they sending into their boardrooms for informational and decision-making needs of their executive team.
I agree. Post it, post it, post it, so we can all see it on social media. Thank you
Got it.
very much again, Faye. Take care.